I'm good. How are you?
All right, good, good. So
Yeah.
yeah, glad to see you. All right.
Yeah. Sorry.
So
Sorry about yesterday.
yeah, wow. So I mean, what was it yesterday? Was it something? I mean,
Yeah. It was basically some work related. I had to sort of go somewhere,
I
and
see. Okay,
it
okay.
sort
All
of
right.
came out of the way. Um,
Okay, all right. Okay. So what was it
but
taken care of? Was it properly
yeah,
taken
yeah,
care of? Okay,
yes, it was.
that's good.
It
All
was.
right, good.
Thank
All right.
um.
So yeah, but Herman and I we had a good chat. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
all right.
So,
Yeah,
uh,
and
it was
we
worth it then.
we talk about basically the master student who will be coming, and
Okay.
she might be working on something related to logistics, like how do you
Oh,
do the taxi, right? Sort of like a
nice,
decentralized Uber. Okay, so that
nice.
will be related to what you're working on too.
Is
So
that
I
the
think
same lady?
yes,
Um,
yes, yes, the same girl.
nice.
So I think it would be nice, if you can also find some time to discuss with her and see how the two of you can work together,
All right.
because there are probably
Um,
something overlapping, and also
yeah, no,
she
there
needs
is.
time to get on board. Yeah.
uh, There is.
Okay.
I'm gonna send Professor Herman a reminder just after this
Okay. Sure.
to
Thanks.
get her
All right.
contact. All right.
So that's sync. All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me share
So yeah.
my
Sure. So please
screen.
share the current progress.
All right. So, um, can you see my screen? Um,
Yes. Yeah.
all right. So I basically made the changes as suggested yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
which was
Okay.
basically the reverse. The
Mm-hmm.
when the publisher publishes a message,
Right.
it
Right.
basically checks the subscription list,
Right.
and then it sort of matches.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, when I look at this, I actually realized that was always the plan all along. But I was
You just don't tell.
I don't know what
Yes.
happened.
Yeah.
um Let me just so basically I think you understand this to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing, I'm getting the generated random
Right.
values
Right.
appended here.
Okay.
I think the major thing that changed here was the handle response,
Mm-hmm.
which
Okay.
is
Right.
what it gets the response from the matcher.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Okay.
basically saying, give me whatever you get, send it to me.
Right.
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 So now to the matcher, it's simple logic.
Mm-hmm.
It's first to create a request list.
Right.
So for all nodes as they come in, basically save it to the sub list.
Mm-hmm.
So the
Okay.
matcher keeps like a small record of
Right.
in the items, the subscription request basically,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
and this is just to track that. Like these are
Mm-hmm.
the requests received, and then pub requests. So the idea is, so when the publishers, when there's a publish request from a publisher node now,
Mm-hmm.
um, the matching occurs here.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
so all the print is just to show what happens. Print publisher node is, so this is basically iterating each item,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then it's indexing the p node one, which is the channel of the publish request, and
Mm-hmm.
then the message attached to that publish request.
Okay.
So now this is where the channel matching process. So for I in range length. So the idea is to check the length of the subscription list.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm not sure if this is the best approach to it, but for now it
Mm-hmm.
works. But the idea is to
Oh.
count how many.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just hold on a
Uh,
sec. 易
okay.
容，等一下是2点半。OK，要等一下再请加入。OK。All right. So I think someone else will bring. Yeah.
Oh,
All right.
okay. Sorry
Okay.
about
So
that.
go ahead.
Yeah, so I was basically saying I'm not sure if this is the best approach in terms of checking the sub list first.
Mhm.
But
Right.
it also makes sense. But the idea is count it. So for example, if there's 10 items, you're gonna run this 10 times. I mean, if there's
Right.
10 subscription requests, if there's one, just run it once.
Right.
So for count that, and then get so this is just to track what am I getting
Okay,
from the
nice.
subscription list, right?
Right,
And then index the channel,
right.
the ID and the channel.
Right.
Basically, I want to
That's
know
right.
what the ID is, and so if the channel
Mm-hmm.
equals to the pub channel, which
Mm-hmm.
was already in this, then basically say there's a match found, and then this is the message,
Mm-hmm.
and basically send that response
Mm-hmm.
to the library here. I mean, to the function
Mm-hmm.
here, and yeah, so that message
How
should
do
be
you
sent
send it to the subscriber though?
to the subscriber. So I basically return it, send it back to the so there's a function here that sort
Mm-hmm.
of collects, I mean, that references this handle response. Let me see, where is
Mm-hmm.
it? So that's here. So I'm basically importing node here.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the node handle response save. So,
Okay,
so it's like I'm saying pass this message to save,
I see.
and
Okay.
this handles the function to save to the node.
How does it handle the response though?
You mean like decrypting the text, or
No, I mean like where basically the subscriber should receive that publication, right?
yes, yes.
Right. So how has it been done?
So yeah, that's what basically this function is.
Uh-huh.
Maybe that's not the right approach. So the idea is importing first like the library,
Okay.
or should I say this node
This
library,
function.
basically.
Okay.
Yeah, the function, and
Right.
basically handle response but pass the save value,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Okay.
And then I'm calling that function in the pub request
Right.
after
Right.
there's a match.
Right.
I
Right.
call the function and then send the message.
Right.
So as to whether this is effective, one of the things I'm looking to do next is just to sort of do something similar to the vast JavaScript library,
Okay.
where it's randomized movements and
Mm-hmm.
randomized, and then to be sure
Okay.
that this message is going to the right node,
Mm-hmm. Okay. I
because
see.
I'm not sure if it is, if it's going
Mm.
to go to the right node, or if it's going to go
Okay.
to all nodes. Yeah. But
All right.
that's just a
Good.
placeholder sort of thing.
All right.
And then else, this is just also to track to be sure that
Mm-hmm.
there's no match. And then this is to handle if there's no match, send it to the next matches. Now,
Oh, I see. Okay.
right,
Okay. All right.
but
Okay.
nothing happens here yet,
Yet. Okay. I
because
see.
I think
Okay. All right. Okay.
I need
All right.
to randomize the nodes now.
Okay. All right.
And then
Good.
I'm still trying to do the testing,
Mm-hmm.
because for some reason there's a lot of conflicting.
Mm-hmm.
For example, it's almost like I can't import the library twice. When I import nodes, it sort of says
Okay.
stuff like circular import error.
Right.
So it's like I'm referencing a node in the node in a
Okay.
node,
Okay.
something like that. I don't know if you get it, but yeah, but it's fine. I think that's because of the way I'm running it, because it's like 100 things are happening at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And if it was individual nodes, maybe it would be better. But if I just run this,
Okay.
I'm just gonna run 2 publisher nodes and 2 just, or should I say
Oh,
maybe
okay.
3?
Okay.
Let me
But
see,
it should
2.
still work though. I
No,
mean,
it still works.
yeah.
Yeah, it
I
works.
mean,
It
it's
works.
100. I mean, if it's 100 notes, it should still work.
It will still work. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It should still work. Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Good. So is that the current update so far?
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. Good. All
Uh,
right. So
but
I think you got it
so
right this time. The publication matchup phase.
yes.
So that's good. Okay.
Okay.
I think I saw what I wanted to see. Basically, there's the matcher logic. Okay, and I think that's been done correctly. Obviously, you need to verify that. Okay, with
Yes.
some actual simulation, but just from the appearance, I think it looks logical. Okay. A couple of feedbacks.
right.
One is when there's a match that actually happens, you want to make sure that this publication gets sent and is being processed by the subscriber node.
Okay.
That's the question I was asking. But I
Okay.
don't think that works now. Okay.
Okay.
The reason being, you can go back to your code. You can go back to what you do with the after matches, right? You put the send response, the publication, right? However, if you look at what is self really, self in, right? Self is something you pass in, and I mean, like the send response, I mean, is I'm not familiar with the Python, I mean, like self is probably the current object, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So with the self, it's just because of the structure type, because it's in a
right.
class,
Okay, all
there
right,
has to be like a bit of a
right.
reference.
Okay, all right. So this comes to the question of what is nodes, right? As line 75, like handle response sake, right?
Okay.
So what exactly is nodes, and what is the handle response function? Who does it
Okay.
belong to? You see, the
Okay.
handle
I see
response
what you mean.
probably should belong to the subscriber,
Yes.
you see.
Yes.
But right now, what is nodes?
No, node is just the class. Yeah.
Right,
This class. Yeah.
right. See, so it's a
Okay.
generic class. It's not any
Is it? Yeah.
specific
It's not a
instance.
specific. Okay.
It's not
Okay.
any specific instance. So this is something you probably will need to fix. Okay.
Okay.
You see, because when you already found a match, right? You already know what the matching subscriber is in terms of the
Yeah.
ID, or maybe you could even have like a node, right? But
Yeah.
this is another issue, though. Okay, I think, well, I mean, it's okay you match it to a subscriber list, but then what you want to do is probably send it to that subscriber, you see?
Okay.
You see, like you have to understand right now the logic here you're writing is the matcher logic, right?
Yeah.
So you think of the matcher and the subscriber are two independent nodes, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
at the matcher's side, you do keep a list, which is the sublist that you have. So I mean, likely you will find some match, and you will get the match subscriber's ID and channel, right? That's how you are doing the determination. But then something should probably work like you are sending that to the subscriber ID, the particular publication message. You
Yeah.
see, somewhere, I think line 62. Okay, you
Yeah.
should do something to that effect. You see,
Um.
like if
So.
you have a send response, so probably just having the publication message is not enough. You also need to put as input the subscriber ID.
Okay.
You see,
Okay.
I think you have to have
Okay.
at least two parameters for this to make sense.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
So
does that
basically
make sense?
sending the message to the right node.
Exactly. You have to specify which
The node.
subscriber, what is the ID is, that you're sending the publication to,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And then within the send response, you are doing the specific sending,
Okay.
right?
All right.
Okay,
So
does that make sense? Are you
yeah.
following?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect.
Okay. So that's one feedback. The other feedback, this is also specific, which is related to line 65. You don't have a match, but it doesn't mean that you will start to move to the next matcher. Okay, because note that you are still checking just over the subscriber list now,
Okay.
right? It's probably something you should do after you check off all the subscribers. You see, before you try to maybe forward this to other matchers, right?
You're right. Yeah.
You see,
Shouldn't be in the
because otherwise, let's say you have 10 subscribers, right? And every time it doesn't match, then you are triggering the other matchers. So likely you will have a lot of redundant triggering of the next round of matchers, which
Sure.
is not something you don't want that. Okay, because
Okay.
if they involve, for example, like sending the publication to other matchers, neighboring matchers, for example, then you will be triggering that a lot unnecessarily, right?
I see
You
what
see
you
what I'm
mean.
saying?
I see what you mean. You're basically repeating a process that's unnecessary
Exactly.
if it
So line
matches
65 should probably work outside of that loop.
outside. Mm,
Okay.
Something like that.
Exactly. Exactly. Right. Right. Something like that. Yes. Okay. And the send
But
response, you should probably put the subscriber ID as part of the parameter. I mean, line 62.
yes. So I will find the I'm gonna think about the logic in terms of
Right.
getting the perfect ID and
Okay. Sure.
targeting.
Mhm.
In terms of, I wanted to actually ask
Okay. Go ahead.
about the subscription. Um, should it be optional? I do understand that in your master's thesis, for example, you had the leave and the join and the
Mhm.
all these processes.
Yeah.
Um,
Procedures.
should there be like a sort of triggering mechanism, if I don't know if that's the right word, to
Mhm.
say okay, there's a function to handle response or maybe publishing ID, publisher
Mhm.
ID, there's a to subscribe ID, but there's also a function to sort of now make a subscription request, like an if statement, for example. Like, okay, if a button is pushed, let me just use a boolean, for example, there's a boolean input, then make a sub.
Well, okay. For me, I don't think it's necessary.
Okay.
Okay, and the reason is, you have to think of each node as being individual.
Yeah.
Okay, by that I mean that you have to think of, okay, so a node can take actions, right? Usually from either a user or maybe the node itself, has some logic. Like you could send out a message, right? You could
Yeah.
send out a request or send out a publication. Those are actions.
Yeah.
But then it can also handle incoming messages,
Okay.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when you are handling incoming messages, you don't really have any if statement, right? You just process the next message on the message queue that has
Yeah.
been sent to you. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
And for requests such as publication or subscriptions, essentially that's being handled by the matcher that receives them.
Okay. Okay.
So there's no conditional statement of any sort, you see.
Okay.
It's more like, I mean, you have to think of this as, just processing the next message on queue.
Yeah.
Okay.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
I think the reason why you're asking about having some kind of if statement is because you're looking at things globally, right?
Okay.
You're
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
kind of thinking about you're looping through each node, and you want to make sure that yes, this publication needs to be handled, that needs to be handled, right?
Yes.
But
Something. Yeah.
right, but the way usually this is structured is that you can have a global loop that's kind of like the simulator part,
Okay.
okay? But essentially, usually in this global loop or the main loop, so, some may call it, what happens is you simply loop over each node, okay?
Okay.
And then just ask each node to, one, perform some actions should it choose to, okay?
Okay.
And maybe here you can make it conditional or, be randomized or pre-generated, right? Some behavior, whether doing a behavior or not doing a behavior, okay? But then for each node, you also have to trigger their response handling part, right? Where they are handling incoming messages.
Okay.
See?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
can you visualize this? It's kind of like you
Yeah,
have a big
yeah.
loop where you loop through each node, and with each node, you just call two functions. One is something like perform action. The other is something like handle messages,
And
right? Or handle requests, something like that.
Yeah.
You see?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
The matcher basically does most of that. It's not
Within
necessarily
the handle request. Within the handle
yeah.
request. Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Makes sense. All right.
Okay. So there's no conditional yet.
Okay.
Mm.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay. That makes sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Also,
All right,
oh, sorry.
any other questions? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so at the moment, I know at some point I would have to think about the simulation in like from a network layer perspective.
Okay.
But I'm not really thinking about that yet.
Okay.
I'm considering I think I saw the vast code and I remember seeing the values were created at random intervals. So it wasn't necessarily all created at once. It was created like maybe every 10 seconds, create a random node and basically let me see visual. Hopefully it's gonna come out. But it was not all created at the same time. There was a sense of let me see. Yeah, sort of moving around. Yeah, there was the moving around. Let me see if I can find it. What did I say?
So basically, move around is kind of like an action. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think what you have here is initialize a single node called peer. Okay. So so this is the code. I think you are looking at the code for an actual physical experiment. I mean, this is running on an actual physical network. This is not the simulator. Okay. I think the simulator is maybe the test bump here. Okay. Oh, sorry. No, not this one. So, okay. So this is what you started. Okay. So, all right. This is actually starting a node that that can be either a gateway or a regular peer. Okay. And this is all through parameters. Parameters would determine whether it's a gateway node or a regular node. But I think there should be another file that's is there a test? There's the test directory.
The tests. Yes. Okay, let me see.
Oh no,
Because
no.
this was what I basically ran.
These are the files in the test, right? In the test. Okay.
Yeah. These are the files in the test.
So
when you sort of run this, it sort of comes out in a command prompt sort of window, and you can sort of see the. But the idea, what I saw was, nodes were being generated at random times. It wasn't necessarily 10 nodes created at the same time, and then everything.
No. So all right.
So it was like a real-time environment. I think that's the one I'm looking for.
Click on the client.dat. I think probably this is the batch file.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a file that starts a local node, like a client node.
Yeah.
Scale, how about scale.dat? I think this might be the actual, okay. All right, so I think this creates test1 scale. I think that's the file. Test1 scale. Is there
Test one
such a file?
scale. Shoot.
No?
Test one pair now. I don't see it.
Okay, all right. All right, anyway, this is, okay, what you're looking at now is not really simulator code, okay?
Okay.
This is actually running actual experiments, meaning that this will create many instances that
Okay.
actually communicate through, the actual TCP/IP network, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, so I think this could be a bit more complex than what you need to do now. Essentially, you can, this test1 peer file, I think it creates either the first node called the gateway or other client nodes. Okay, depending on what the
other client nodes.
right, depending on what the
The other one,
parameters are. Okay,
Mm.
so the move around here actually is simply at a fixed interval. It will try to generate new positional, new positions and move towards that.
Okay.
You see? Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah, it
Okay.
does. Actually.
Although I would add that for a simulator, okay, probably all these functions will be called, like peer move, join, all these will be called, except that it will be, it's going to be done within a main loop kind of that will loop through multiple clients. So I think another, maybe a better is the C++ library. Okay. If you can check out not the JavaScript, but the C++ version, I think there's probably a simulator that can better demonstrate, how simulations should be run.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
All right.
that's, I guess that's my recommendation.
All right. I'll check that out.
Yeah. Okay. The other thing is, I'm not sure if this is the code Migro was using, because I think Migro did have a running simulator, when he was doing his master thesis, Migro.
Okay.
Okay. So I guess you can also ping him. I think it's on the repository. It's probably one of the branch that he's working on, that he was working on. Okay.
Try to look for it.
So
now.
try to ask him, if he can. And meanwhile, I will also try to dig up, okay, to see if there's like neighbor size.
Okay.
Okay.
Fast. Okay. I'll look into that. I think it's on GitHub.
Right.
But I'll look
It's probably on
that.
GitHub. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So is that all right? So I think fix that
that's
and
fine.
have the test.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Robert, we're about to finish. Okay. All right. So thanks, Victory, and I'll talk to you next Tuesday then. All right. I mean Monday.
Yes.
Monday.
Sorry. Monday.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, tomorrow
We'll have the mastermind.
Mastermind.
Okay. All right. Take care. Yeah. Bye bye. Yeah. Bye.
Bye.